All right, aloha. So this is a video for key terms for Chapter 1 for IT 480, the Computer Network Design course. And so I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the key terms that you should know and understand prior to taking the quizzes, and certainly before the midterm or exams. So key terms for this chapter, you should understand different types of devices. So there are source, end, and intermediary devices. And you should be able to identify, what is a phone? What kind of device is that? If it's a VoIP phone or a router or switch or other things. Network types from a large topology perspective. Be able to recognize and identify if you saw a picture, be able to successfully identify and describe and define what's a LAN, a MAN, and a WAN. And how those are different and how they may be the same. And also what is a SAN, which is not a network, but is commonly used and sometimes gets confused, whereas that's for storage, but it is network connected storage. So be aware of that one. Be able to describe sort of the differences. What is the difference between the intranet as opposed to the internet? And be able to clarify and distinguish those. I'm going to take my glasses off because I see it's making sort of this reflection in my eyes, and hopefully I can still read my notes here. Connection types for your devices. Be able to appropriately identify and describe and understand what are the pros and cons, when does it make sense to use these different connection types. So Ethernet, satellite, SDSL, cable, cell networks, WISP, that's WISP, and then VPN. So you should recognize those different ones and be able to describe what they are and what their advantages and disadvantages are. Network characteristics. So what is a converged network and what are some of its characteristics? A scalable network, a fault-tolerant network, and how would we create one? What kinds of things are needed and what that would look like. The term BYOD, you should understand what that means, and more specifically for purposes of this class, how does that impact your network design? What considerations do you need to make in the selection of your products, your network devices, your security implementation, if you allow for BYOD, whatever that is? That's what you get to find out what that is. And lastly, malware. Speaking of security implementation, understand the distinction and again, how it influences your network design for spyware, DOS attacks, identity theft, zero-day exploits. And there's obviously lots of different parts to malware, but for purposes of this class, again, understanding those differences and how you need to mitigate or prepare for, or protect against those in your network design. So those are the key terms for Chapter 1. They may show up on a quiz, they may show up on an exam, and they may just be good to know. So thanks, aloha.